All you would like. We're so glad that all of you could be here with us this morning. I would like to recognize a few people. We want to especially thank our legislators for being here this morning. I'm going to wait and recognize y'all individually in just a minute when we ask y'all to come speak, but we really do appreciate your coming. We want to thank Kevin Little and the Board of Commissioners. Would y'all stand, Kevin, and any of the commissioners that are here? There you are. Wave your hands or something. Thank y'all so much for being here, but we also just want to thank you for all you do to support everything that goes on in our county. We really appreciate all your efforts. We also want to thank the Walton County Schools. Gary Hobbs, the superintendent, is here, and I believe Nathan Franklin, who takes care of us here in this facility. We appreciate so much you're letting us use this great facility, not just for this, but the house partnership and everything else that you do here. You're just invaluable to the community. Thank you so much. We also I'd like to recognize Sonia Hope, who's our Family Connection Support Specialist. She came all the way to be with us this morning from Morgan County, and we appreciate her joining us as being part of our family connection. Thank you, Sonia. At this time, I'd like to recognize the board members for the partnership. If y'all would please stand. If you're a board member, stand or wave or something. Thank you. This is just a terrific group of people who really work hard to help make life better for the citizens here in Walton County. I'd also like to thank our staff, Dina Huff, who is probably, Dina, there you are, Dina and Rick Baker, our Family Services Coordinator, and Amy Honeywell, our Youth Development Coordinator. You'll be hearing from Amy in just a little bit. We just appreciate so much everything that y'all do. Next, I'd like to introduce Terry Womack from the Chamber of Commerce. If you'd come up, Terry.
Thank you. Good morning. We appreciate being able to partner with the partnership on this initiative. We began this last year, and in the past, they did the legislative breakfast. We coordinated the individual sessions, and so Dina and I decided to combine that last year, and I think it works out great for everybody not to have to be at two different dates and two different places. So we appreciate being able to partner with y'all, Dina, and thank you for all y'all do for the community. My chair-elect is here, Meredith Malcolm. I'd like to recognize her and appreciate her being here this morning. And then all of the mayors and county commission chairmen, all the legislators, and school board superintendent all serve on our chamber board of directors. And I know that most of them have already been recognized, but if y'all will just wave so that if you weren't in the previous introductions, everybody will know who you are. Very good. And then I just want to remind you of a chamber initiative, Buy Local. We had our chamber lunch on that yesterday, and I did bring some Buy Local discount cards. There are discounts all over the community. There are 12 different discounts. The cards are good until December 31st, and I have a couple of handfuls over here, so please come see me afterwards and take them, and you students can take them as well. There's 15% off Zaxby's. I'm sure that y'all go there quite often. So, and that can be used as many times between now and December 31st, so it's not a one-time use. And just remind you as you're doing your holiday shopping that you know, to choose, you can make a choice to buy local, and we hope that you will do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. We're really happy to have our legislators with us today, and we really appreciate having a good working relationship with all of our legislators here in Walton County. An example is this past year when our Department of Labor office was closed here. The state closed our office in Walton County, and so Representative Bruce Williamson really stepped up to the bat for us and worked with all of us here in the county to open a new office here over at Athens Tech. And without his help, this would not have happened. And we really appreciate it. It means a lot to us to have legislators that are really public servants and really do their best to represent the citizens here, and that's what we have, and we are really thankful. We especially appreciate your efforts also to keep state funds in our local community where they're used most effectively, because so many times we see on both the state and the national level, everybody wants to try to make things bigger and take the control away from the local entities. And these are the people that know what's going on here in our county. And we believe that we have really made good use of the things that have been appropriated to us, and we just really appreciate your efforts in just continuing to see that happen. Each of our legislators is going to have a chance to speak to us shortly, but I'd like you to stand up as I introduce you. We have Senator Bill Cowsert. We have Representative Tom Kirby. And Representative Bruce Williamson. Our other two senators, who are Rick Jeffries and Burt Jones, they're sort of in a transition period of redistricting here. Both had previous engagements and are not able to be here this morning. But we just thank y'all so much for coming. I'd like to ask Senator Cowsert if you would start. We just want to hear.
We'll let Tom start this morning.
Oh, you're going to let Tom start this morning because you're the newest one. Okay, so if you would come, and when he gets through, if you'd come on up here, and then Bruce, if you would just follow. Thank you.
Well, good morning. It is different. We normally let the senators start off, so I, being the junior member, though when Burt comes aboard, I won't be junior anymore, just on the House side of Bruce. He's our long-term statesman compared to my term, so, but it is nice to be with you. I'm going to let these guys tell you a little more about some of the details, maybe the budget and some of the fun things that'll be going on. Just want to give you a couple of things. One of the things I've been working on for Walton County this summer, started really during April and May. The Environmental Protection Division in Georgia decided to kind of change some of the things with inert landfills, and we've got a really good inert landfill out on Highway 81. If you're not familiar with it, they do a great job with the yard waste and recycling, and they called me and said there's a problem with some regs they're trying to put in, and it was actually some stuff that was the General Assembly took out of a House Bill 274, said this was not what we need to do. And when I met with EPD, they told me at 73-acre landfill, their permit, starting with getting a PE in there and everything else, would be about $400,000. They get $57 for a tandem dump truck load of yard waste. That math just doesn't work, and so we're not going to be on EPD's Christmas card list this year, I can assure you that. With the help of a lot of members of the House and the Natural Resource Committee that actually met, that's all been put on hold, and that regulation is not going through. And those are things that we do a lot that people don't see. We talk about the session, but this stuff goes on year-round, just like the work Bruce did with the Department of Labor. We are here to serve you every day of the year, not just when we're down there in Atlanta. But coming up in Atlanta, there are a couple of things I've already been working on. One of the fun things I get to do, I've already got the resolution with legal counsel writing it up to recognize the Loganville High School state championship baseball team. Those are always nice to be able to do that, and we really enjoy it, and being able to congratulate especially the students. The other little bill I've got working on right now is with the window tinting law. And law enforcement know there's a lot of vehicles out there that are illegal. Matter of fact, once you know what the tint looks like, you can probably recognize it real easy. Turned out I bought a car for my daughter that was from a reputable car dealer in the county that was darker than allowed in Georgia. So after paying that and finding out, I think we just got a little bill that says they need to be able to put a number on there so when you buy that car, you know if you're buying something that's legal on the roads or not. So those type of little things we're working on. I've got two important bills that I think are very important. One is we're working on one that's going to reinforce our status as a right-to-work state to help counter some of the things we're seeing out of Washington and NLRB, to give our businesses something that they can put out there and make sure people understand what that means for their employees to be in a right-to-work state. I think that's very important. And then one of the biggest things, working with Chairman England up in Barra County and Georgia Right to Life, Hopefully, we're going to have a nice bill that's going to ban the animal-human hybrids, where they're mixing human cells and animal cells. Just don't see that as a positive thing. When they put human embryos in jellyfish cells to make a glow-in-the-dark embryo, I don't see a need for that. And we've got a bill where we're trying to, without killing good research that we want, that doesn't destroy life, to get rid of stuff like that, that just kind of Frankenstein science. So that's some of the things I've been working on, and looking forward to getting down there, and looking forward to today to learn what's on your all's mind. So, Bruce, you next?
Thank you, Tom, and I do appreciate the, excuse me, the opportunity to be here. As Tom alluded to, the long-serving tenure of 2 years as your representative of the Georgia General Assembly for this part of Walton County. We made a lot of recognitions of all the service in the room, but I wanted to circle back and ask Commander Bobby Boss if he'd stand and let us give him a round of applause for the many years of service he's given our county. Commander Boss, how many years was it you served? 36. 36 years. Well, long before there was a partnership, Bobby Boss and the fine people of the Loganville American Legion were doing that kind of work selflessly, serving not only the veterans, but anybody in need in Walton County. And I just say, I look at him sort of a spiritual grandfather to this organization, in the terms of his commitment to the county and making the Walton County a better place to live, work, and play. Some of the highlights I'd like to talk about it. We all know, and we all talk about it, is in this coming session is going to be all about the budget. Everybody needs more money. The taxpayers don't want to pay anymore. It's all about how we operate government more efficiently, delivering the necessary goods and services, especially supporting, I'm looking dead at Mr. Hobbs and Mr. Todd, Social Circle School Superintendent. We have got to support K through 12 education. We've got to do a better job in allocating our resources in our higher education. We've got the best technical education program in the nation, I believe, and that's been supported by the fact that we've had 2 stellar success businesses come and locate with a Caterpillar on our northeastern shoulder over in Oconee and Clark County, and with being able to successfully recruit Baxter International, which will be delivering 1,400 very high-paying jobs, the median salary of about $60,000 per job in Social Circle. Athens Tech in particular played a very strong role in being able to help deliver those jobs to our local area. So kudos to the fine work they're doing. As a matter of fact, the state of Georgia, for those of you that might not be aware, is putting $14 million into a new training facility down in the Social Circle area at Stanton Springs, specifically designed to get employees ready, work ready very quickly, and that job is going to be handled by Dr. Flora Tidings and the fine folks at the Athens Technical College. One of the things I wanted to remind everybody about, in the last session, we did pass substantive tax reform. It ended up being about a $50 million savings overall to the Georgia taxpayer. What's kicking in January the 1st is a sales tax exemption on any agricultural energy used for the agricultural sector. What will be a 4-year phase-in is a relief from sales taxes on energy used in manufacturing. Again, a very important feature in being able to position Georgia to be able to recruit jobs like the Caterpillar and the Baxter International plant. In that similar vein, the Tax Reform Act offered projects of regional significance, and no one could argue the fact that both Caterpillar and Baxter are very much projects of regional significance. There was some sales tax breaks for the construction items used in the construction of those 2 new facilities. And again, we're not collecting sales tax on anything that's not being built, but by being the Baxter International project, so I want to say $1,250,000,000 in round numbers. There will be an exemption of sales tax used in the construction materials going into that project, but we're happy to grant that to get that kind of investment and those kind of high-paying jobs in Georgia. Tom alluded to it, and one of the biggest roles of your state representatives is constituent services. I was kidding Dina Huff earlier. It's really, this partnership made that Department of Labor office open. Dina called me. She called y'all. There was group meetings. We worked together collaboratively. It wasn't one person, but I was kidding Dina. I want to name it the Dina Huff Department of Labor building, because without her leadership on that, it wouldn't have happened. So in a nutshell, I'd just like to say, remember us when you do have a problem with a state agency. Call me. If I can't find the person to help, I'll find the person that can help us, and we can get things done for the betterment of Walton County. With all that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our senior member of our delegation, Senator Bill Cowser.
Morning, everybody. I thought I might just sort of tell you a little bit about what we do when we go over to Atlanta to the legislature, because a couple of years ago, I spent some time talking about the budget process, really how that works, how it starts and works through the legislative process. And, you know, afterwards, a lot of people came up to me and said, wow, that was really enlightening for us. We keep hearing about the budget but don't know how it works. Well, then I got to thinking, you know, y'all see us at these events, and we can tell you what kind of legislation we think is going to come up and get your input, what you think about the laws that are being considered. But you know, do you really know what we do when we get in our cars and drive over to that Gold Dome every day? It's a 40-day session. Now, let me tell you, they do math a little different over in Atlanta than they do back here. This 40 days always starts the second Monday in January, but it never gets over till the end of March. Now, you know, there's not but 30 days in a month, so you got to figure that out. How did it take us 3 months? Those days are when you are in session, when you're actually on the floor of the House or the Senate considering business. A lot of the days we spend in committee meetings and dealing with other issues, and some days you have days off to go back to your districts and take care of the constituent relationships that Bruce is talking about and different concerns that are coming up, and your own business. Because we have a citizen legislature, it is a part-time job. All of us have full-time jobs that we do, and that sort of it makes you juggle things in life to do that, because you're trying, you know, I'm a lawyer. I've got to go to court and take depositions and meet with clients and things, and then certain days I have to come meet with constituents like this, or I have to go meet in a committee meeting, or during those 40 days we're in Atlanta, we might be in legislative session. So you're kind of juggling each thing. It makes it hard for you to focus your attention totally on passing laws or taking care of your constituents. But it makes you better at it, because we have a broad cross-section of people in all walks of life that serve in the state legislature, and each of them brings to the table their own experiences, their own expertise, their own knowledge of certain areas, you know, whether it be education or healthcare or law or insurance or real estate. Just different people come together so they realize how these laws impact our real life, and it makes us more effective, in my opinion, to have citizens that do this on a part-time basis. So what we do when we go to Atlanta, I'll just give you a little, a day in the life type thing. I have lots of youth groups will come to the Capitol, and you know, Leadership Walton will come, and people, and I like to tell them sometimes I'll take with me my calendar. I get my secretary every morning to print out my calendar. Actually, the evening before, she'll print out the next day's agenda for me, what I have to do. And here's a typical, we're going to call it a Wednesday in the state capitol during session. Bruce and I are in the Legislative Prayer Fellowship. We meet every Wednesday morning, 7 o'clock, in the governor's conference room on the first floor of the Capitol. It has House members. Tom, we're going to get you there this year too. House members, Senate members, some people from the executive branch, and men, women, Democrats, Republicans, none of that makes any difference. And we might have anywhere from 15 to 30 people there on any given week, and we'll have a devotional. We take turns, prayer request, and it's just a good Christian fellowship there. And that's good to keep you grounded, keep you based. But that's always on Wednesday mornings. Some mornings there might be a breakfast You might have the FFA people come through, or the Farm Bureau, or a youth group, or any of your organizations that you work with might be having some kind of breakfast, and we'll, generally speaking, have some kind of breakfast like that in the mornings. Your day never starts after 7:30. You know, you're usually up and going by then. And after that, and on the Republican side, we have what's called our Republican caucus, and that's all the Republican senators, and we have a meeting together every day. And we go over the agenda for the day, what bills are going to be on the calendar that'll be voted on that day. Somebody reports on them, describes them. If we have questions, we ask about it, so that you know what's coming up for a vote before you go up there. And I have a little checklist. They have a little written summary of them, and I'll either have a check mark if I'm voting for it, an X if I'm against it, or question mark if I hadn't made up my mind, and I'll wait to hear the debate on the Senate floor and then decide how I'm going to vote on it. But we meet together, and you develop friendships, and you discuss the business of the Senate and what's coming up on the calendar that day. And that's usually at about 8 o'clock, and it'll get done at 9 or 9:30. And then at 10 o'clock each morning, we begin our legislative session. That's when you start. And that happens just for those 40 days. So it's not every single day, but most weekdays while we're in session. And you go there and you have different people speak, you have bills presented, debate the issues, and many times that doesn't take but a couple hours at the first. There may not be many bills ready to be voted on, and we get out about noon. Then you'll have a lunch somewhere. There's always somebody's got a lunch meeting, or you're going to meet with somebody, or a lobbyist or a constituent in the Capitol. You want to talk to them about their concerns or what bills they might be trying to get through the legislature. And then starting at 1 o'clock, committees begin to meet. And you have committee meetings that will go all afternoon, and everybody in the Senate serves on at least 4 committees. In the House, I believe y'all get at least 3, but some people may have more. And that's where the real work gets done, is that you consider the bills, and people, the general public, can come and testify. They can come present their views on whether the bill makes sense to pass or not. Tom's mentioned a very interesting one that may come up this year, that in some of this scientific research now, they are literally doing what he said, which sounds like science fiction, but they are mixing human embryos with animal embryos to create stem cells that they can use for research. And they do that so they can say this isn't a human embryo. And what do they call it? Chimera? It's a funky scientific term for that. And they're saying, well, this really couldn't grow into a life. It would, because the genetic makeup, it won't, but it can let them harvest these stem cells. And some of us think that is just horrific, that you would do that, and we'd like to see that come to an end. So you might have a committee, though, that you have these scientists that come and say why they're doing it and how they do it. And then you have people, from the Right to Life organization saying this is just wrong to do, but you hear the evidence from every side, and then you vote and deal with these issues in your committees. I'm on 4 of them. I'm on, really 5 of them. I'm on Appropriations Committee, where we deal with these budget issues. I'm on Judiciary. As a lawyer, they generally put us on Judiciary, and we deal with issues anywhere from, the death penalty to how much you pay for a traffic ticket. It could be anything like that. I'm also on Natural Resources. I love hunting and fishing and outdoors, and so I enjoy that committee, and we deal with water policy and things like that, hunting and fishing regulations. And I'm on Higher Education. I live in Athens, of course, with the university there. That's important to my constituency, so we deal with the higher education system, all the colleges and universities. So you can't be on every committee, and that's one thing that's neat about us working together, is that I'm sure Bruce and Tom and I, and y'all don't see Burt Jones, he's at another meeting this morning, we all serve on different committees so we can represent our community in a lot of different areas. But those meetings will go all afternoon. You meet committees, and then at the end of the day at 5, there's usually a reception. One thing you're going to hear about this year is ethics reforms. Should we allow lobbyists to give gifts to legislators, buy your meals, and things like that? Is that essentially bribery? Is it something we ought to control? Or is it part of the process where they have access to you to be able to influence you and tell you their views? A lot of communities, Savannah has a whole Savannah Day. At the end of session one day, they'll have this place called the Freight Depot that's walking distance from the Capitol, and they'll have a big reception with oysters and crab legs and this, that, and the other, and all of the county commissioners from Chatham County and the city council people come, and they get a chance to meet with us and tell us what the concerns they might have. We have a huge port down in Savannah that we're bringing in products from all over the world. It's coming through Georgia, and they go advocate for that, and they say, we really need y'all to fund this so we can continue building business in Georgia. it's a balancing act that we have to deal with there. We don't want people to be able to buy influence or bribe legislators to do something. But we need the public to have the right to seek redress from their government and to be able to present their views to you and have a venue or a forum like that where they can do it. So we'll deal with that issue. But anyway, late afternoons, almost every day, there'll be some kind of reception that some organization or another is doing to get a chance to present their views to the legislators. And then many times you might have either another meeting of some sort, an informal meeting or dinner after that, and then you go to bed. These guys, I think, drive back and forth. They're a little luckier than me. They're closer to Atlanta to be able to do that. It's an hour and a half from Athens to the Capitol. And my feeling is I don't want to waste 3 hours a day driving over and back, not counting traffic, where I could be working in committees or studying legislation or developing relationships. So I rent an apartment during the session, and I get home about 9:30 every night or 10, and I'm just whipped. It's a one-bedroom apartment. I call my wife, check on her, and I'm asleep, and I cannot sleep in Atlanta because noise. I mean, I'm in downtown Atlanta, you know, and these traffic gets going, and ambulances and trash trucks and things, and so I'm up at 5:30 or 6 at the very latest, and headed back out again, doing that full day. So it's a really hectic lifestyle, but it's really interesting because you're dealing with all kinds of different issues. I tell my wife it's almost like going to a different seminar or two in the same week. You might be talking about education, and I may be on the phone with Gary during the day trying to say, does this bill help you or not? Or he'll call us or email us and say, I want y'all to be looking for this bill that's going to hurt education. You don't want to do that, or whatever. But it's interesting. I might deal with education. I might deal with some kind of hunting regulation. At the same time, talking about colleges and universities, and do we let illegal immigrants attend them or not? And then you talk about these tax issues Bruce is talking about. It's really, your mind can just be spinning all the different things that you have to learn about it. To me, it's stimulating. It's fun to learn about the different things and try to come up with the solutions, but it's quite a challenge. That's my final point, is to do our job right. We need input from you. My mama used to always say, God gave you one mouth and two ears. You need to be listening twice as much as you're talking, so I'll sit down here in a minute. But we get the feedback from y'all on all these different issues. I can't know anything about all those. I mean, I may know some about the law, but we need to hear back from you. And it would blow your mind. I saw Stephen here earlier, he puts it in the paper, our addresses and contacts in Atlanta, with the phone number, the address, email, those things. Use them, and use any of those methods you want to. You give us a phone call, send us a letter, send us an email, whatever mechanism you like to communicate with, let us know. There are times when I go into the office in Atlanta on a Monday morning, and I might have 500 emails that came in over that weekend on a topic. And I can't answer every one of them, but I certainly read them or review them and get the feedback of what people are thinking and how they feel. But we'll get phone calls, and in one little business day at the Capitol, you go in there and you have that session, go to some committee meetings, come back to your office, and your inbox is just full. You have over 100 emails every day from different people trying to tell you what their views are on things. And that is so valuable to us, to let us know what the people that we represent want and what's important to them. And it's helpful to us. And this type of thing, this morning we look forward to this, to hear from the different groups what your interests and needs and concerns are, so we can do our job representing you, being one of those voices for you in Atlanta. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I'm going to use these 2 ears for the rest of the morning instead of this mouth. Thank y'all.
Thank you all very much. We've really enjoyed getting to hear what you have to say, and I know you're going to enjoy meeting with individuals shortly. Next, I'd like to turn the program over to Amy Honeywell and the YAB, and that's going to be followed by Dina Huff, who's going to make some announcemements.
Thank you, Candy. Hello, I'm Amy Honeywell. I've had the pleasure and honor of working for the partnership as a youth development coordinator for a little while now, and I've had the even greater honor of working with the Walton County Youth Advocacy Board. I just wanted to give you a little background on them in case you aren't familiar with them. They are a group of teenagers from all over the county, Monroe area, Walnut Grove High School, Loganville High School, and we have a huge bunch of Social Circle high schoolers as well. And they are amazing. They meet every other Tuesday, and they talk about what's going on in Walton County. They're not just talking about it either, they're doing stuff. They are educating their peers in the community about drugs and alcohol, bullying, texting and driving, anything that they think is important. They're also doing community service projects, and today they're going to get to speak with legislators about what teenagers think is important in Walton County. So they'll be sure to give them an earful, I'm sure. And the great thing about them is that they have a lot to say. And so today I'm going to hand the floor over to them, and they're going to let you guys know a little bit about what they think is important in Walton County. So if you guys want to come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, well, this presentation is basically, we're going to present things that we love about Walton County and things that we find really important.
So this activity is, if a meteor is coming to Earth and you can save one thing that represents Walton County, what would you choose?
I just have to choose the old mill in Monroe. I'm YAB's sole representative from Monroe area, and the mill is so important to me. I didn't know for a long time that Monroe is historically a mill town, and I think to me the mill represents inspiration, determination, and a strong work ethic. And I really think that work ethic is a trait that I haven't really seen in my generation, and by focusing on the mill, I really hope that it can become a trait.
I'm McKenna Gray, and I'm from Social Circle High School, and I would choose to say save the Blue Willow Inn restaurant in Social Circle. It's an amazing restaurant that is known across America for its true hospitality, grace, and cooking of the Old South.
I'm Molly from Loganville, and I chose to choose the Loganville Football Stadium because I guess football is really important to us in Walton County, especially it's like a southern thing, and I guess it's where we all can come together and just be one big family and support one thing, and we just have our different opinions, but after the game we're all just one big happy family, no matter who wins.
I'm Kavadis Banks from Social Circle High School, and if I could save anything, it would be the Boys and Girls Club because they inspire young people to become great leaders, and they also build character and leadership, education, and life skills, and they help young people to realize their full potential in becoming adults.
Hi, I'm Colton Allgood from Social Circle, and I chose the well because it's the symbol of Social Circle's beginning, and it's how Social Circle got its name because people met around the well.
Hi, I'm Amy Thompson from Walnut Grove High School, and I chose to save the library. And I chose the library because it's an inspiration for education, and it kind of brings the community together in a way because there's something for everyone there.
Hi, I'm Luke Udell from Social Circle, and I would save the JROTC program. They contribute a lot to Walton County. That's what I just think about them. They're amazing. They do a lot.
I'm Cheyenne Beal, and I go to Walnut Grove High School. I chose the hospital because the hospital is committed to the community, and they have wonderful technology, and they're dedicated to the community, and they provide clean and safe working environments.
Hi, I'm Mitchell from Social Circle, and I chose to save FISH, and it stands for Faith in Serving Humanity, and it's a Christian outreach ministry sponsored by various churches in Walton County, and it's strictly volunteer with some paid members, and they reach out and help the needy.
The awesome thing is that we just kind of told them what to do. This was something that I told from Leadership Walton, this activity, and I did it with them. And there are so many different things that they came up with, but a lot of them are represented here, and they're you guys, and they see that happening. They just don't necessarily know who's behind it all. And so that's the great thing about them getting to come to the legislative breakfast today and then getting also to speak to the legislators. We're about to show a poem that kind of, Amy, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
This is a poem that we just kind of feel represents our generation in a way. So, if you like it.
Okay, while we work on that, we're going to have Nathan Blanzette speak to you guys for just a few minutes.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed their breakfast. I know I did. But I just have to say, YAB is my favorite organization that I'm a part of, and I'm a part of a lot of organizations. Each of us has a part of, as you've seen, each of us has a part of Walton County that we just love. To some people, it's the Georgia Hills. To some, it's the architecture that has survived so many decades of strife and turmoil.
I am part of a lost generation, and I refuse to believe that I can change the world.
Do you want me to continue? Okay, and to one person, it's those Friday Night Lights that are the product of everyone's hopes and dreams. Small towns are really important. I don't think people realize that. I know that a lot of us have big city dreams, but the values that will guide us for the rest of our lives were instilled in this very community. We're compassionate, driven, and we don't make excuses for ourselves. We go in and we get it done. And I think that our rearing has really prepared us to enter the real world with initiative. And, you know, we're comprised of some of the best students in the county. We're a bunch that believes in real progress. And I know that sounds naive and idealistic, but then again, aren't all young people idealistic and naive? But we think that real change can happen. Real progress can occur if you just have an ardent work ethic and if you have a lot of snacks. Thanks to Amy Lucia. We're always hungry. But we can't make change happen just by ourselves. I mean, we can't just do it. So thankfully, we are surrounded by a community that continually supports us in every way possible. And without your time, your understanding, and your patience, and your commitment, we could not have done the things that we are most famous for. And I know that wherever life takes us, we will always be thankful to have grown up in a community that is as virtuous and as welcoming as Walton. So thank you all. It's been our utmost pleasure to speak to you this morning.
I am part of a lost generation, and I refuse to believe that I can change the world. I realize this may be a shock, but happiness comes from within is a lie, and money will make me happy. So in 30 years, I will tell my children they are not the most important thing in my life. My employer will know that I have my priorities straight because work is more important than family. I tell you this, once upon a time, families stayed together. But this will not be true in my era. This is a quick fix society. Experts tell me 30 years from now, I will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of my divorce. I do not concede that I will live in a country of my own making. In the future, environmental destruction will be the norm. No longer can it be said that my peers and I care about this earth. It will be evident that my generation is apathetic and lethargic. It is foolish to presume that there is hope. And all of this will come true unless we choose to reverse it. There is hope. It is foolish to presume that my generation is apathetic and lethargic. It will be evident that my peers and I care about this earth. No longer can it be said that environmental destruction will be the norm. In the future, I will live in a country of my own making. I do not concede that 30 years from now, I will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of my divorce. Experts tell me this is a quick fix society, but this will not be true in my era. Families stayed together once upon a time. I tell you this, family is more important than work.
I have my priorities straight because my employer will know that they are not the most important thing in my life. So in 30 years, I will tell my children, money will make me happy is a lie, and true happiness comes from within. I realize this may be a shock, but I can change the world, and I refuse to believe that I am part of a lost generation.
That's it. Thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you to everybody who came out this morning, and a special thank you to everyone who brought a dish. We really appreciate it. Bobby.
Yeah. Because Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up this year, you know, most of these people in here are volunteers. And at Christmas time, that's when we need you. And of course, Thanksgiving being next week, you do what you can on that. The Christmas program in Walton County, Cindy Little's not here, I don't guess.
Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah, there you are, Cindy. It's your show. But she does a great job at Christmas time, and you know, volunteers is what makes it. So this crowd today, I need to thank yourselves for being here, to be a part of the volunteers in Walton County, because really that's what makes programs like Cindy's got and what we do at the Loganville American Legion. So this year we got more than ever people that's needy. And so we sitting here this morning enjoying breakfast. We probably got some left that somebody would like to have. But you know, the needy is out there big time this year, more than all the years that I've been sending. I'm sure you see the same thing. But anyhow, this year, all the volunteers are needed for Christmas. Let's get out and help them if we can. Thank you very much.
And actually, that's my next comment. I failed to send out the email about bringing a toy with you this morning. We did that last year, and it was great. But please, if you feel the need to, and I hope you do, to help fish out this year through Secret Santa, they are going to serve a ton of kids this year, as well as several different organizations around the county. So if you will either bring a toy here or take it by the fish office, and I'll let Cindy give that address out, we'll make sure that those toys are taken to fish before distribution day, because it is very important. We will have several kids that will not have a Christmas this year. But thanks to Fish, some of those kids that may not have had a Christmas will actually receive a toy this year. So thank you for all that you do. This meeting does take the place of our November collaborative meeting. For those of you that may not attend the collaborative meetings, we do meet the third Tuesday of every month at 8 a.m. at Felker. So I invite all of you to come. We have a light breakfast, nothing like what you see over there on the table. But I do try to offer coffee, juice, and some type of breakfast item. So please, we'll start that back in January, and the month of December, please go volunteer at one of the organizations and help out for Thanksgiving and Fish with the gifts. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you for providing the breakfast items. And our meetings will start at 9:30. In the small training room across from the partnership offices. So I think first on the list may be the extension office. And then the list is on the door, so I'm not being rude, but I'm trying to keep everybody on time. I know our legislators have an afternoon of business they need to take care of, so we'll try to keep everybody on time. So if you hear me knock on the door, that means your time is up, so you can wrap up your conversation.